Greetings, friends. It's Pat from Dancing Moon Travel with another weekly episode of Let's Talk Travel. We're so glad you could join us again this evening, and we hope you'll stay tuned because, as usual, at some point during the broadcast, you're going to have an opportunity to enter something into the comment section and win a fabulous prize. We have a drawing each week where we give something away just for our live listeners. Now, if you're catching us on instant replay, though, we're so glad you're out there. Most of our people do catch us after the live broadcast, but our drawing is just for those who tune in live. So I am so excited to be welcoming our special guest this evening. Our Houston Dancing Moon agent, Natalie McCaskill, actually recently connected with our guest and introduced us. He's a great provider and just an engaging personality. And we're so glad to be able to bring him on and introduce you. And I know you are going to be very happy to meet our guest, Taha Raja from I hope I'm saying that right, from Brambleberry Tours. Welcome, Taha.
Nice to meet you, Pat.
So glad you could join us. And Taha, we always like to just start off by letting people get acquainted with our guest a little bit and start by giving a quick overview of your background, how you made your way into the travel industry and found your way and founded Brambleberry Tours. So could you just give us a little bit of that background?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Pat. First of all, I'd like to thank you and the Dancing Moon organization for giving us the opportunity to talk to you guys. I'm excited to be part of this show today. So, and talking about the tours and the organization. So, Brambleberry Tours was really a product of my passion, and part of it is photography, and part of it is travel. From a very young age, I have been privileged to be able to travel first with my parents and then, of course, as myself, and have been fascinated on going around the world in different countries and experiencing the various cultures, architecture, landscapes, etc. And with that, I had a great passion for photography as well, and especially on the wildlife and architecture side. And that's what drove me to, at some point in the recent past, about 5 years ago, to put together a side tour business, allowing people to take them back to wildlife photography, which is part of my homeland. So I grew up and was born in Tanzania, and a lot of people are familiar with the exceptional wildlife photography and touring that's available in East Africa. And so I wanted to share that with friends, family, folks that want to join me, and of course, people who love to travel in some exotic, exciting places, to experience these places and be able to do it in a sort of affordable way. A lot of people consider traveling to Africa extremely exotic and very out of reach. And part of my goal is to bring that closer to home and bring it to a lot more people to be able to see and experience the whole thing.
Wow, that is great. And frankly, Taha, you don't often hear Africa and affordable mentioned in the same sentence. So you have, I'm sure, captured some attention out there just by putting those two words together in the same sentence. I love the name Brambleberry Tours. How did you come up with that? It's just got a charming ring. It's an attention getter, kind of, I guess, like Dancing Moon Travel. a little unusual.
It is unusual. It doesn't have any roots in travel, unfortunately, but it does have roots on my wife and I. When we first got married many years ago, she had a passion to set up a small business named Brambleberry. And so, I took that name as a way of just bringing some goodwill and good fortunes for this tour company. And like you said, it had kind of an unusual ring to it, a little bit different. So we adopted that name. Nothing really special.
That. Yeah, I like that. It's just sometimes it just it's a name that comes to you, and
Right.
So I totally get that. What destinations are you currently serving at Brambleberry Tours?
So we focus on Africa and India. Africa, we do 2 to 3 tours a year where we take a select set of photographers and travelers both to the Serengeti. And we focus mainly on East Africa. And then in India, we focus on tiger safaris for folks to experience and see the elusive Bengal tigers that are well protected now in India in some sanctuaries and game parks in India as well.
Wow, wow. So some really exotic, wonderful destinations.
Yeah.
What would you say, Taha, that differentiates your company from other providers and that serve the same or similar destinations? What sets you guys apart from the competition?
Yeah, so a couple of things. One is, a lot of tour companies that offer these kind of options in the U.S. Offer them as providers here, and they usually link up with outfitters over there, and are working through third-party providers. On my situation, I was born and raised there. I know the areas really well, and so I'm able to put packages together that would probably sell at the extreme high end of tours, give the same experience for a better price point with the same experience. So, and what we try to do is that I try on some of the scheduled trips that we have organized. I also am always part of those tours. Part of it is my passion to travel, but the other piece is to give extreme detail attention to the guests that join us so that we make sure they have a great time and a bucket list experience.
Well, Taha, we're focusing this evening on our Africa. That's our theme, after all, for the month of May, and uh, uh, so we're going to focus on that. You said Eastern Africa. What are some of the places that the names that our listeners might recognize if they're not up on the geography so much?
Yeah, no, yeah, understood. So the two countries that we focus on is Tanzania and Kenya. Many folks may be familiar with the national parks, the Serengeti, Ngorongoro, Lake Manyara, Tarangire, and of course the famous Masai Mara as well. The Masai Mara and the Serengeti are part of the same ecosystem. The Masai Mara belongs in the Kenya, and the Serengeti portion belongs to Tanzania, but they're part of the same ecosystem. So those are the famous national parks that we visit in our tours.
Yeah, and looking at these pictures, and these folks, these are pictures that Taha has taken himself. These are his pictures, and I have pulled some of those to show that these accommodations. You say affordable, but obviously you are not skimping on the experience. These
No.
are lovely. You're out in the African bush, and yet you have some really, really lovely accommodations for your guests.
Yes, that's the yeah. So these are for the Serengeti, 5-star level accommodations. It, it would be called extreme glamping, if you want to call it that. But you are well taken care of. There's no arduous processes or hard work for any of the guests. We make sure that as soon as they land, until they take back home, that they're 100% taken care of with, you know, 5-star accommodations with meals, accommodations, restrooms, the whole 9 yards. It's like being part of a nice high-end tour, if you will.
Yeah. The pictures that you have of the experience here, uh, people are obviously being well taken care of, and uh, just a very seamless. And
Yeah.
most of our travelers like the seamless experience. They love to know, and so uh, easy, comfortable, and authentic is a big word that comes
Right.
up frequently, and I would imagine that authenticity is a given with your tours.
Yes. Yes, we try to bring the entire wildlife ecosystem as close to you as possible, along with the native people there, so that you get the interaction with the animals and with the local citizens and tribesmen, so that the experience is full without you having to kind of be in the bush yourself, so to speak. And
Okay.
every person that works in our company that services you while you're there are all local citizens, so the entire tour benefits the local economy of those countries.
And so much of the world, we're so glad to be out of this pandemic for the most part. So much of the world is, the economies are so dependent on the
Yes.
tourism dollars, that it is, when it's done in a way that's ecologically sound and thought out. The tourism is just the lifeblood of so many of these uh, countries and
Yes.
destinations. They need those traveled out. The scenery is just stunning.
Yes.
Um, and tell me, Taha, I wonder. You said you do a few tours each year, but and you focus obviously on escorted travel. Yeah,
Right.
you're not just turning people loose with a jeep and bidding them have a good time. But could you? So you have set departures, but could you also arrange if somebody say had a group of 6 or 8 or 10 people? Could you also arrange a custom tour? Can you help with something like that if they have a group that they might want to reach out to you?
Absolutely. Yeah. We do that, and we would be happy to accommodate it. And since we kind of work on both countries, Tanzania and Kenya, uh, the main attraction in East Africa is the Great Migration that occurs from basically from north to south. And so essentially, uh, any group can travel almost any time of the year and be able to experience the Great Migration in different parts of the migration route. And so, yes, if somebody wants to say, hey, we have 4, 6, 7, 8 people that they want to go, we can certainly accommodate it. There are some economic numbers that make better sense.
Hmm.
Like, for example, if you are going to go in the vehicle, it's good to have multiples of four. Each four-person group would go in a vehicle. And then, therefore, if you have 8 people, you would do 2 cars. If you have 4 people, you would do 1 car. Doesn't mean we can't do six. We can absolutely accommodate six, and you can divvy up between 2 vehicles however you want to. But obviously, the cost is slightly different than if you were going
Right.
in multiples of four.
Got you. That makes perfect sense. And since you mentioned that, I'm going to jump ahead just a little bit. Uh, you have a tour coming up later this summer. Actually, I think
Right.
the last time we spoke, you actually had a bit of space yet available. Can you just tell us a little bit about that trip, what's included, and the pricing and so forth?
Yeah, absolutely. We do have a tour that is scheduled. We might have a couple of spots still left. We have a couple of clients that have, with the help of your promotions and all, have inquired with us. And so the tour is happening on June 22nd through July 2nd. And that's a scheduled departure that we have going to this northern part of the Serengeti. And we have a special price for with coordinating with Dancing Moon at $5,900 per person, and that's based on double occupancy.
And
So
folks, I just want to tell you, for an Africa trip, $5,900 per person is really, I mean, that's really a bargain.
yeah,
You just you see tours that are twice that easily for a similar tour. So just
yes,
want to throw that out there.
thank
Uh,
you.
what what about the first time traveler to Africa? What are a couple of high points in an itinerary that you would say that anybody that's going to Africa needs to not miss these? You have a couple of favorites?
Yeah, I do. That's a good point. And a lot of our folks that join us, it's a bucket list, once in a lifetime trip. So we certainly try to highlight these things. The one stop that we do, and it's the first part of the trip, is we stop at Ngorongoro Crater. Ngorongoro Crater is a World Heritage Site. It is a big volcanic caldera which has the entire ecosystem inside the caldera. So you see all the big five animals, cats, the elephants, the rhinos, the whole 9 yards. And you actually stay on the rim of the caldera for your overnight stay, looking down on the crater. And then we take the vehicle down into the crater to spend the whole day looking at the wildlife. And it's one of the most awesome experiences of the package tour that we put together. And then, of course,
Just
yes, go ahead.
yeah, just fabulous. These images, folks. If you're looking at these images here, uh, you want to go.
Right. And then of course the Serengeti is in the Serengeti. What we do is we on the February tour we do a hot air balloon ride over the Serengeti on the second last day, and it is a breathtaking experience as you are gliding over the savannah early morning, right before sunrise, and then when you are in the balloon, you're seeing the sun come up, and you'll see many animals as we kind of float above the savannah, watching the animals down there. And we've seen some amazing uh, combination of animals this way as well.
That is just, I love that phrase. It's float above the savannah.
Yeah,
I mean, that just, that just captures my imagination in the picture. Uh, that is just amazing. Folks, can you imagine? Here's just a picture that you apparently shot right from, can you just imagine driving down the road and seeing this out there, you're having to slow down?
yeah,
Yeah, Taha, there's one thing that I wanted to bring this hippopotami, whatever.
yeah.
Uh, I hear that they really, they kill more people in Africa than many of the animals that everybody considers so dangerous.
Right.
Is that true?
It is true, believe it or not. Because hippopotami, most of them. The good news is we don't get near them in night. But what happens is these are night creatures. During the day, they sit in these pools, like you're seeing in the picture there,
Hmm.
and they don't move out of there.
Kind of
But
like this.
right, exactly. This is one of the famous pools that you'll see literally like 30, 40, maybe even 50 hippopotamus sitting around just lazily floating in there. But during the evening, they come out and they graze. They are herbivores. They don't really go after any, meat or anything like that. But, you know, native folks over there who are running around, and they sometimes these animals cross national park boundaries and go into villages areas, and so those encounters become dangerous. And and of course, people who are messing around over there, trying to get meat on the wild animals, if they attempt that, then they may get hurt by these animals are huge. They're uh, 1,000, 1,500 pound animals. So they're
And
very,
they're
very heavy.
fast from what
Yes,
I
they're
hear.
fast. Yes, yes,
Amazing. So, uh, I know you have a special emphasis on photography. Frequently, somehow, it seems that a photographer will get paired up with a non-photographer, and they're married. Pardon me. Is your group? Are your groups? Are they friendly to the non-photographer spouse and companion?
absolutely. In fact, you know, I sometimes envy the non-photographers because they can actually sit there, relax, and absorb with their own mind and eyes what they're experiencing, while the photographers are busy messing around with their equipment trying to get that photo.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, we've had many times frequently, in fact, non-photographers join the tour, and they become better spotters of animals than even the photographers. So, absolutely. These are bucket list items for anybody. And you don't even need to have a professional camera. You literally, today's phones take fabulous photos. So if you're just wanting to take casual photos with your phone, you'll love
iPhones
it.
are welcome,
That's
folks.
right. That's right.
All
That's
right.
right.
Taha, I know I'm always mindful of the clock. It just seems to go so quickly, and I know things are changing so rapidly these days with the travel protocols. But can you share with us what are the current requirements for travel to Africa? What inoculations are recommended, and if you're going out into the bush, you need to probably there may be some that are actually required. So can you just kind of share with us, plus whatever is required with regard to the pandemic right now?
Right. So good news is Tanzania and Kenya have now relaxed their requirements. But the airlines still do require just a PCR test before you depart, up to 72 hours prior to your departure. So that is still in place. We believe later on this year it'll probably get eased off on that. And then the country doesn't require anything further. It's good to have a vaccination card with you. And in fact, we strongly encourage everybody to be vaccinated to travel so that, there's less chance of you, catching COVID or anything like that. All our tour providers who service the hotels and or drivers are all vaccinated. And so we make sure that that protection exists. Additionally, when you go to the tropical African areas, it is advisable to take some prophylactic medication like malaria and or yellow fever vaccination. If you're traveling from the United States, none of this stuff is required anymore, but it is recommended. And of course, we always, whenever anybody signs up, we tell them, hey, please consult with your medical provider to make any suggestions for any additional inoculations. The good news is when you're traveling from the US, no vaccinations are actually required by the governments anymore. But they are, of course, strong recommendations. Of course, with the pandemic, we strongly encourage you to be vaccinated there as well.
Yeah. Well, it is good that people have options. We have inquiries on an almost daily basis about vaccination requirements and folks, if you are traveling to these tropical areas, I know when we did the Amazon River, for example. I haven't done Africa yet. It's always it's on my bucket list, but taking those precautions for the antimalarials and the yellow fever. It's just for your own protection. Just consider it at least strongly, as well as the COVID vaccination. You don't want to get sick in
Right.
in the middle of your vacation. So just just a word to the wise that you might really consider that, even if you're kind of haven't taken, done your vaccination yet. If you are planning a big trip, you might want to just consider it and talk to your medical provider and maybe take care of doing that before you leave. Just a word to the wise. So, Taha, thank you so much. This has been enlightening and such good information. I love the words affordable and Africa and photographers. This is such a great opportunity I mean, these photographs that you have on that you've taken yourself are just really amazing. And I'm so excited to introduce you to our followers. And as always, a special thanks to our live listeners. And as always, we have our giveaway that I mentioned early. I have a waterproof phone pouch for your Android phone for you to take use your phone as an underwater camera. These are very secure, and my photographer guru friend Jason Odell swears it works. He has done it himself, so if he says it, I believe it. He has had personal experience. You don't have to go out and buy an expensive underwater camera if you want to get those shots anymore. You can use these pouches. So just enter the word Brambleberry. That's Brambleberry, berry, Berry. One word in the comments right now, and you will be entered in our drawing for this week for the waterproof phone pouch to turn your phone into an underwater camera. And now mark your calendars also for next week, for next Tuesday evening. iWorld of Travel will be joining us. They will be talking about Egypt. So we're going up to North Africa for next week's emphasis, land tours in North. People sometimes forget that Egypt is on the African continent. So for the geographically challenged, tune in next week. It's a very hot, not just the weather. People are very interested in Egypt, and it is booking very, very hot destination. So thanks again, Taha. We so appreciate your time and
Thank
all
you.
you shared about Brambleberry Tours. We're just so excited to have you guys as a new partner. I so appreciate Natalie connecting us, and hopefully we're going to do some business. If you are interested in booking with Taha at Brambleberry Tours, folks, you know how to get in touch with me. You can just contact Pat at Dancing Moon Travel by email. You can phone me at my phone number here. I'm trying to show this here, 404-735-5774. If you'd like more information, we are happy to help connect you with Taha and Brambleberry Tours. Thanks again, Taha. And we will be working together, I am sure, in the coming days.
Thank you, Pat. I really appreciate the opportunity. And we actually have 2023 dates already getting released next week.
All
So
right,
that'll be
next week, great time.
yes,
So
yeah,
get your order in early. You know, these trips are flying off the shelves. People are really serious about booking travel now, and affordable Africa. What's better than that? So, guys, reach out, book frequently, book now. Don't wait, because honestly, with the airlines and things, prices are not going to get any cheaper. The earlier you book, the better off you're going to be. So thanks again, Taha. Thanks to everybody
thank you
who's
very much.
tuned in, and see you again next week. Bye,
Thank you.
everybody.